Hello, welcome back. I thought I would do a midweek update because I'm going to be very busy this weekend and probably unable to do a video update. So I'm going to do it now. I think I have enough here to do an update. I finished a lot of books. I talked about those books in my last video. And so over the weekend, when I went to the library, they had a lot of books on hold for me. They all came in at once. I also have a whole bunch of other books that have come in that were holds. So a whole other tranche of books waiting for me that I'll pick up after this weekend. So let's get to it. I am still reading Night of the Living Res, this collection of short stories written by Morgan Talty. I did learn from my Booktube friend Heidi at My Reading Life that the author is himself someone who is from can I find the name of the tribe quick enough? The Penobscot Reserve in Maine, a native community there. So what I have to say about this is just what everyone else is saying, and that is, I'm not a short story reader, but I love these short stories. They are all in the same vein of reserve life or reservation life. You're dropped into situations, family situations or friend situations. But the way that Morgan writes these scenes, they're not written in a didactic way. So you're not given all the details about a family explicitly. It all just comes out naturally. And I think that's the beauty of his writing, is that he doesn't have to explicitly say what these families' lives are like, the ones that you're dropped into. You just know it from the writing. It occurs naturally. And of course, that's such a craft for a story writer. And that's why this book, to me, is so excellent. It's what he isn't saying, but that he weaves into his characters and their interactions that you understand just from that type of writing. So anyway, so good. So what am I reading now? Well, I am reading a bunch of just all new books because I was done with everything. So I decided to start reading A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara because I had such a book hangover from reading To Paradise. I just wanted to be in her writing again. And I know she has a book that she wrote before this, but I've owned this book before and I started reading it, but I don't know why I didn't ever keep reading it. It wasn't because of anything I was reading that I stopped. I know that. I just never read it. So I'm only 87 pages in, but and I know there are difficult themes in this book. You can read all the reviews and you will find out exactly what I'm talking about. I won't go into that now because it's been said all over the place. I've been very careful about reading reviews or listening to reviews. I only do it up to a point until I can tell it's getting into plot. But really, this is a character-driven book. And Jude is at the center of this group of 4 college friends who are now living in New York City. And most of them don't have very much money. And one of them has a wealthy family who's in New York. But just to give you a snippet of her writing. So I think it's JB gets on the subway. I think he's the one that is an architect and works in an architectural firm. I get them mixed up, I have to say, in terms of their professions. So because it's early in the book, so I'm still a little light on the professions. But so he's on the subway and he says the other aspect of those weekday evening trips he loved was the light itself, how it filled the train like something living as the cars rattled across the bridge, how it washed the weariness from his seatmates' faces and revealed them as they were when they first came to the country, when they were young and America seemed conquerable. He'd watch that kind light suffuse the car like syrup, watch it smudge furrows from foreheads, slick gray hairs into gold, gentle the aggressive shine from cheap fabrics into something lustrous and fine. Her writing, I feel, is both lyrical like that, and it's also just smooth and gets you into the characters really quickly. I'm already just compelled to read a little bit of this book every day. I'm reading it very slowly. So that's that. Then I finally got from a hold request case study by Graeme Macrae Burnet, which was it long? I know it was long listed. I don't know if it was short listed. No, it was long listed. I read a couple reviews of this book and also have heard a couple reviews. I haven't really read all of them or heard or listened closely because I don't like to do that if I know I'm going to read a book. What's been said about this book is it is written as if it is a true, that it's nonfiction, that it's someone who is tracking is he a psychologist, psychiatrist, psychologist, psychotherapist, named Collins Braithwaite. And the way that this book is done, it's as if this is a fact and that Collins Braithwaite is real, but he's not, and all of it is fiction. So this woman is tracking down Collins Braithwaite, and she is becoming one of his patients or clients because her sister was a client, and she is convinced that Collins Braithwaite is responsible for her sister's death. I am enjoying this so much. I really, really am enjoying it. I'm about halfway through, and that's all I can say. A lot of people didn't like it. I don't know where I heard about this book called The Goodby People by Gavin Lamberg. It is done by, what is the press? I don't know what the publisher is, but isn't this a fantastic cover? I don't know what publisher or press does it this way. I'm sorry, I don't know. I can't read it. I just love the design. But anyway, I don't know where I found this book. I don't actually know who Gavin Lamberg is, but it says it's a portrait of Southern California at the end of the 60s, forever swapping addresses, lovers, and dreams. It's told, I think, it's told in first person, and this person telling the story knows all these people that he's talking about. And I am not very far in. I'm only 42 pages in, so I haven't come across very many people, but I love the description of Southern California on the coast. A lot of people that he's bumping into right now have a lot of money, but they're interacting with other people in this group that are legitimate hippies. And I just love reading about this whole time period and the world that Gavin is creating. I don't know why it's called The Goodby People yet. I don't want to look back on whatever review I read to make me reserve this book at the library. So I'm just going to wait till I'm done. But I love it. I really do. Really thin on the plot, and it's just atmospheric and about characters and the time period, which is very specific Southern California people with money at this point. So if that's your thing, this is going to be your book. And I like books like this to be to have as a ballast, and even really so far case study, to have as a ballast for something like A Little Life. So that's how that mixes up really well. And then I have this hold called Free Love by Tess Hadley. And I don't know anything about Tessa Hadley. I don't know anything about Tessa Hadley. I haven't read any of her other books. This is a story about, is it set in, yeah, it's 1967 London. And it's about a dutiful homemaker, Phyllis, who's married to Roger. And it says that when the 20-something son of an old friend pays them a visit one hot summer evening and kisses Phyllis in the dark garden, something in her catches fire. She's newly awake to the world, and she makes a choice that defies expectations. I have read a couple pages of this book. I will read more of it after I'm done with one of these other ones, Goodbye People or Case Study, but I am interested in it. It's come up on a lot of lists, and so I'm interested in the premise. So if you know anything about Goodbye People, let me know. I would be happy to know more about the author, not really about the book or how it goes or anything like that. If you've read Free Love, what did you think about it? And I have books on hold that are coming. One of them is one that Heidi from My Reading Life recommended as a way to get into some more Native American history in the United States. I'm not going to even try to remember what the title is, but it might have Wounded Knee in it. So I'll make sure I include that in the notes. So those will be books that I pick up early next week. Trying to think of what others are in that hold, like so many of them. I don't even recall why some of them are on there. So until then, happy reading, and I hope you have a good week.